Welcome back to Talk Ema. Have you studied English for months, yet freeze when someone speaks to you? Today, we'll finally break that habit together.
That happens to me all the time. I know what I want to say in my language, but when I try English, my mind suddenly goes completely blank.
You're definitely not alone. Nearly every learner feels this way. Today, we'll practice simple speaking habits that help you respond naturally with more confidence.
I'm excited, but I'm also a little nervous. I usually forget easy words whenever I try to answer quickly, and that makes me lose confidence fast.
Feeling nervous simply means you care about improving. We'll turn that nervous energy into steady confidence by practicing useful English together today.
That sounds encouraging. Whenever someone speaks too quickly, I panic, search for words, and the conversation moves on before I can answer comfortably.
Exactly. Many learners translate every sentence first. Instead, we'll train your brain to recognize complete English phrases and respond much more naturally.
I've heard people mention shadowing before, but I never really understood it. Is it just repeating words, or is there something more to it?
Great question. Shadowing means listening and repeating immediately while copying pronunciation, rhythm, speed, and emotion until speaking starts to feel automatic.
I like that idea because it sounds practical. Instead of memorizing grammar rules, I'll train my ears and mouth to work together every day.
Perfect. Let's begin with a simple situation. Imagine you're meeting someone new at a cozy cafe. Take a deep breath and say your first greeting confidently.
Hello, it's nice to meet you. My name is Alex. I'm happy to practice English with you today, and I'm ready to keep improving every single day.
That's a nice beginning. Instead of saying, "What is your name?" try something warmer like, "Hi, I'm Emily. What's your name?" It feels friendly.
I understand now. What is your name sounds too formal for everyday conversations. I'll use, I'm Alex, by the way. What's your name?
Excellent. Remember to use contractions like I'm and what's. Native speakers use them naturally, and they instantly make your English sound smoother.
Thanks. Those small changes really make a difference. I already feel more relaxed, and my sentences sound much more natural than before.
Great. Now imagine someone asks, "Tell me about yourself." Keep your answer simple, but add a little personality to make your introduction memorable.
I'd say I'm a student, and I'm passionate about learning English. My dream is to speak confidently and communicate naturally with people everywhere.
Wonderful. The word passionate means you truly love something and care deeply about it. It shows enthusiasm and makes your English sound stronger.
That makes perfect sense. Besides English, I'm passionate about music and cooking because I enjoy creating meals and sharing happy moments with my family.
Fantastic! Now tell me one sentence you really want to say with confidence whenever you speak English in real-life conversations with new people.
I'd like to say, I understand English, but I need more practice speaking. That sentence describes exactly how I feel every single day.
Perfect. Notice we say practice speaking, not practice to speaking. Tiny grammar changes like this make your English sound much more natural.
I'll remember that. And if I don't understand someone, I'll politely ask, can you say that again, please? Or could you explain that?
Smile. Repeat after me. "I'm not sure I understand. Could you explain?" This simple sentence keeps the conversation going instead of making you panic.
I'm not sure I understand. Could you explain? That already feels much better because I'm asking politely instead of pretending I understood everything.
Excellent. Now try these. "Sorry, I'm still learning English." And "Could you speak a little slower, please?" They build confidence in real conversations.
I wish I'd known those sooner. I always smiled and nodded, even when I was completely confused, hoping nobody would notice my mistake.
That's something almost every learner does. But now you have the right words, and asking for help politely is always better than staying silent.
I already feel more confident because these expressions are easy to remember, and I know they'll help me handle everyday English conversations.
Great. Let's practice a real-life situation. Imagine you're visiting a doctor and need to explain your symptoms clearly in English without feeling nervous.
I remember facing that once. I only said pain here while pointing at my stomach because I didn't know the right English vocabulary.
That's understandable. Let's improve it. Say, I've had stomach pains since yesterday, and I also have a slight fever. That sounds much clearer.
That sounds far more natural. I also learned not to say hot body because the correct expression is I have a slight fever.
Exactly. If the doctor asks when it began, remember to use the past tense. The symptoms started yesterday morning. Small grammar changes matter.
Perfect. If the doctor asks whether the pain is constant, I'll confidently answer, yes, it's constant, and explain everything much more clearly now.
I'd give the pain a 7. It's quite painful, but I can still walk. Great correction. After the word can, always use the base form of the verb.
Thanks. I almost said I can still walking, but then I remembered the rule. Catching my own mistakes makes me feel much more confident now.
Excellent progress. Now imagine the doctor asks, have you taken any medication? A simple answer could be, yes, I took a painkiller, but it didn't help.
If the doctor asks about allergies, I can now answer clearly, no, I don't have any allergies, or explain if a medicine causes a bad reaction.
Perfect. And if you hear a new word like prescribe, don't panic. Simply ask, sorry, could you explain that again? That's smart communication.
I love that. I actually used one of our practice phrases without thinking. It proves that repeating useful expressions really builds natural speaking habits.
Let's review 6 helpful phrases. I'm not feeling well. The symptoms started yesterday. The pain is constant, and I don't have any allergies.
I'll also remember to say, sorry, could you explain that again? These practical sentences will help me stay calm during an English doctor's visit.
Great job! Now let's practice another everyday situation. Imagine you bought a jacket, but it's too big, and you want to return it to the store.
That really happened to me once. I kept wearing a jacket that was too large because I didn't know how to ask for a return.
No more oversized jackets. Instead of saying, I want to give back this jacket, say, I'd like to return this jacket. That's the natural shop expression.
Got it. I'll confidently say, I'd like to return this jacket because it's too big. That sounds polite, natural, and much more like real English.
Instead of saying, I need a smaller number, say, I need a smaller size. We use size for clothes, shoes, and most wearable items.
Thanks. I'll remember that. So I'd naturally say, I think I need a smaller size because it sounds much more like everyday English.
Great. If a store employee asks, do you have your receipt? They're asking for proof that you bought the item. Keep that paper or email safe.
Got it. I'll confidently answer, yes, I have the receipt right here because I know it's needed for returns or exchanges in many stores.
Great. If you want another size, ask for an exchange. If you want your money back, ask for a refund. Both are useful shopping expressions.
I'd say, I'd like to exchange it for a smaller size, please, because the jacket fits badly and I don't need my money returned.
Excellent. If the employee asks your size, simply reply, I'm looking for a medium, please. That's shorter, smoother, and sounds very natural.
And when I need to try it on, I'll politely ask, where is the fitting room, please, instead of saying the room for trying clothes.
Wonderful. Let's do some shadowing now. Repeat clearly, I'd like to return this item, please. Focus on rhythm, pronunciation, and natural confidence.
I'd like to return this item, please. Smiling. Repeating aloud really helps me speak more smoothly without stopping to translate every word.
Great. Now say, I'm not feeling well. I have a headache. Then, could you speak a little slower, please? I'm still learning English.
Thank you so much. You've been really helpful. These practical phrases make me feel ready for real conversations in shops, clinics, and everyday life.
Great job! Remember this phrase, "You've been really helpful." It's perfect for thanking shop assistants, doctors, hotel staff, or anyone kind.
I love that expression because it's simple, polite, and genuine. I'll definitely use it more often whenever someone helps me in English.
Now, let's review today's key vocabulary. First word, symptom. Can you guess what it means before I explain it? Give it your best try.
Does symptom mean medicine? I'm not completely sure, but I'll take a guess because making mistakes is part of learning English.
Nice try. A symptom is a sign that something is wrong with your body, like a headache, fever, cough, or stomach pain, before treatment.
That makes sense. So a symptom is my body's way of saying something isn't right. I'll remember it much more easily with that idea.
Excellent! Next word, receipt. Remember, it's proof of your purchase, and the letter P is silent, so we simply pronounce it receipt.
Got it. A receipt shows what I bought, how much I paid, and when I purchased it. I'll also remember not to pronounce the silent P.
Perfect. A refund means getting your money back, while an exchange means replacing one item with another. Both are useful shopping words.
I understand now. If the size is wrong, I'll ask for an exchange. If I don't want the item anymore, I'll politely request a refund.
Wonderful. One more word, prescription. A doctor writes a prescription, then you take it to a pharmacy to receive the correct medicine safely.
I'm ready for today's quiz. Even if I make mistakes, I'll answer confidently because every practice session brings me one step closer to fluency.
Smiles. Instead of saying, "I want to give back this shirt," try, "I'd like to return this shirt, please." That's the natural and polite phrase in stores.
I'd like to return this shirt, please. That sounds much smoother and more confident. I'll definitely remember to use return instead of give back.
Excellent. Now imagine a doctor asks about your symptoms. A clear answer is, "I have a headache and a sore throat." Short, natural, and easy to understand.
I have a headache and a sore throat. That feels much easier to remember because it's a simple pattern I can use with other symptoms too.
Great work. One more question. Do you remember the difference between a refund and an exchange? Many learners mix them up at first, and that's normal.
Yes, a refund means I get my money back, while an exchange means I swap my item for another size, color, or different product.
Perfect. Before we finish, here are 3 powerful speaking tips. Learn useful phrases as complete chunks, think in English, and never fear making mistakes.
I love the idea of speaking in chunks. Learning full expressions instead of single words helps me answer much faster without translating everything first.
Another great habit is talking to yourself in English. Describe simple daily actions aloud, and your brain will gradually start thinking directly in English.
I'll start tonight. I'll describe everything I do in English, even if I make mistakes, because every correction helps me improve a little more.
Today, we practiced real conversations, useful vocabulary, shopping and doctor situations, plus confidence-building phrases that you can use in everyday English from now on.
Smiles. I already feel more confident than when we started. Thanks for learning with Talk Emma. Keep practicing every day, and we'll see you next time.